Today we are ranking the Southwest Division teams, their offseason moves, and how I think they're going to perform in this next coming season. Let's go. We're starting with the Houston Rockets today, and you can see that they've made a lot of moves, a lot of additions, some departures. Now, their biggest re-signings are bringing back Steven Adams, Jabari Smith Jr., and it was bringing back Fred VanVleet until Freddie in the offseason actually tore his ACL, which is horrendous for them, especially since he was going to be their starting point guard. He's a damn good point guard. He's undersized, but he can play basketball really freaking well. So it hurts them a lot for that, and he probably won't play at all this year, which really freaking sucks. And I feel bad for Houston Rockets fans because who doesn't love Fred VanVleet? But just in general, bringing back Steven Adams, that's amazing. He's still a great big man. Bringing back Jabari Smith, he's a young guy. They have a good front court. Bringing in Clint Capella, and even though Clint Capella wasn't on the team for a few years, they bring him back finally. So their center rotation is actually really freaking good. And obviously the biggest addition is them trading for Kevin Durant in a 7-team trade, which is insane. With how much they lost, especially losing Dillon Brooks, Jalen Green in the trade, and Cam Whitmore, Jock Landale. They lose a lot of role players, and obviously they bring back a lot of guys to fill in the role player assignment. But having Fred out, we all know Kevin Durant can't lead a team. We all know this. He couldn't win with OKC. He only won with the greatest shooter of all time. He couldn't win with Harden and Kyrie. He couldn't win with Devin Booker. And the fact that there's no real second star except for Sengun on the Rockets now, I don't think the Rockets are going to be as good as a lot of people think by getting Kevin Durant. They just have a really good young team with Reed Shepherd, Amen Thompson. It's just they have a lot of pieces that work well together, but it's also, where's the depth exactly? They have a lot of depth for the big man minutes as power forward and centers, but the guard minutes are what are worrying me. I'm assuming you run Amen Thompson at the 2, Kevin Durant at the 3, Sengun at the 4, and then Steven Adams or Clint Capella at the 5, and then have Jabari coming off bench. I don't hate that at all. But then who's your point guard? Who's the guy that's going to be coming up the floor with the ball, except for Sengun? Because Sengun is that kind of player where he's similar to Jokic, but he's obviously not to the level of Jokic where he can lead every possession. So for that reason, I think the Rockets have to be a play-in team. I don't see them being a genuine playoff team. I see them being 8th, maybe 9th seed, and them fighting to get out of the play-in. I do see them getting out of the play-in in general, but they're either going against OKC, who's ever the other guy in the top seeds. And I definitely do not see them beating OKC or whoever will be the next top seed. So I'd say their ceiling for this year would be 7th seed. I don't see them getting past play-in, or getting better than a play-in spot. 7th seed I think is the highest they can go this year. Their floor is easily 10th seed, as in just making play-in. I think they can't be 6th seed or higher to be a full playoff team, but I don't see them missing the play-in. So them being in the play-in is the perfect spot for them. Obviously they don't want to be there, but that's how it's going to turn out. Now, the fact that you have Kevin Durant, it obviously helps the team a lot, but he's not that guy. I'm sick of people saying Kevin Durant is legendary. What has he done to make him legendary? I don't see it. I know a lot of people that just think accolades or everything see it. He doesn't pass the eye test half the time. Especially nowadays. Maybe in his prime he did. Especially nowadays, he does not pass the eye test. So, the Rockets are easily a play-in team, getting kicked out in the first round, and then growing their young players another year. And Kevin Durant is under a 4-year contract, so this year won't be great for them. But then next year, the young guys get better. The year after that, the young guys get even better. But it's a seesaw, you know? Young guys getting better. Kevin Durant's getting older. Kevin Durant's getting worse. And after these 4 years are up, I don't see him being even at this level he is right now in 2 more years. I think age is going to catch up to him real quick. In this offseason, the biggest thing for the Grizzlies was definitely trading Desmond Bane. Now, they did get so much in return that you can't hate losing Desmond Bane, but their chances at a deep playoff run or a playoff team in general, especially in the West where everyone's fighting for their lives to make the playoffs, that takes a huge hit without Desmond Bane. At least you bring back Aldama, you bring back JJJ, you bring in KCP, you bring in Ty Jerome. You're bringing good players back and good players in, but losing Desmond Bane as the two-man to Ja Morant hurts them a lot. Obviously, like, again, you still have Depoy level JJJ, and Aldama is getting better every year, and like him getting better is a better role player. He's never going to be like a number 2 on a team, but he's a good backup power forward to JJJ. Other thing is, you losing Luke Kennard does hurt. He's a good role player. Now, in recent years, he hasn't been doing as much as a lot of us thought he'd be doing, but he still has the makeup of doing something good, you know? We'll have to see if Ja can stay off Instagram Live. We'll have to see if everyone can stay healthy. But again, in this Deep West Conference, I think they're a play-in team. With how many teams are good enough to make playoffs, I can't trust them to be anything better than play-in. Now, their ceiling, I could see them being better than the Rockets. The ceiling, I could see them making 6th seed, being a full playoff team, and then losing in the first round. But their floor could possibly be missing playoffs. The thing against the Rockets, like, they have a much wider ceiling and floor where they could be a full playoff team or completely miss playoffs, and the Rockets are playing no matter what. Just depends on where they end up in playing. So I think just with the ceiling, they are projected higher, in my opinion, than the Rockets, but we'll have to see how it turns out. We'll have to see if Ja Morant can really be the guy to bring the team to where it needs to be, and if he'll even be on the court for the entire year. The Pelicans are really hard to guess where they'd be, because you bring back Herb Jones, which is great because he's a guy that you want to build around for the future. You bring in Saddiq Bey, you bring in Jordan Poole and Kevon Looney, who are all good players. I'd say Saddiq Bey is, in the next year, maybe 2, going to be a great player. But like Kevon Looney and Jordan Poole, you're just making the Warriors from a few years ago. And to be around Zion, who I might add got off the gumbo. He is skinny as hell now. We'll have to see how that works, because a lot of his gameplay back then was just how powerful he was to slam the ball into the hole. How powerful he was able to jump, how high he was able to jump, especially with how heavy that fat fuck was. It's going to be really interesting to see Zion play this next year, and I'm actually pretty excited to see. We'll have to see if him losing all this weight makes him even more injury prone, or makes it less injury prone because he was so heavy before the strain on his muscles was too much. Now, their departures, obviously Kelly Olynyk, that's not a huge loss, but he's a good guy to just have off bench. Losing CJ definitely hurts. He's old, but CJ can still get a bucket, and you do respect CJ for that. Now, losing Bruce Brown, huge loss. No, but like, I think Bruce Brown works in very specific teams, because like, he wasn't doing much since he left the Nuggets a few years ago. But on the Nuggets, being around Jokic, just being around that team, he's able to do so much and help the team wherever they need him to be in that specific series or that part of the year. So I think New Orleans losing him isn't that big of a problem. You still have DeJounte Murray, you still have Trey Murphy, and it's a lot of good players, but a lot of them aren't that guy. You know, like no one is the Batman. Everyone is more of a Robin, and I don't see them being a great team in the West. I think that they could easily miss play-in, especially with how Zion hurts himself if he does get injured. So they're teetering between decent and play-in. Obviously, like, probably the best decent team, but probably the worst play-in. I would say their ceiling is similar to the Rockets, where it's like 7th seed, but even 7th seed's really high for the Pelicans, so I'd have to go their middle of the road play-in team ceiling. First round, if we actually give Zion some playoff time, he might go. I don't think we've seen Zion in the playoffs in general, so maybe he transcends his normal game in the playoffs. DeJounte Murray, like, the defense there might bring them over the hump, but we don't know. And since their floor would definitely be play in general, we might not see Zion in the playoffs for another year straight, which is wild for a guy that had as much hype as LeBron. So I think with this team, they definitely have enough pieces to make play in, and if they don't, we have to legit have conversations about Zion, because obviously no one thinks he's like great, especially with how often he's injured, but there's still that hope. There's everyone has a little hope in them for Zion that he's gonna be great, because when he plays, he's pretty freaking good. But if we finally do see him in the playoffs, if he's a bum, then the thing that's in our brains might go out the window. And we'll just have to see how it turns out, because I don't see them get out of the first round if they do make it past the play-in. So the Mavs. The thing with them is, it's still insane to me that they traded Luka in general. We've seen recently pictures of AD that they didn't just trade them, they also traded their diet plans. Luka looks amazing and AD's looking a little fat around the edges. So they bring back Kyrie for a 3-year deal. They bring back PJ, bring out Dante Exum, and they bring in D'Lo and Dennis Smith Jr. to round out the guard play a little bit more, since they saw when AD's out, if Kyrie's playing that much, he's going to injure himself because he's playing too many minutes every single game just to keep them in the fight. Are we going to talk about how the draft lottery was 100% rigged? Like, I know other people have this opinion too, but you trade Luka to the Lakers of all teams, and then you just somehow turn up with the first overall pick, having the 3rd worst odds to get it that year. It's very suspicious. It 100% is. And looking back on when the Luka trade happened, I feel like that's the only explanation. Like, when it happened, everyone thought Shams got hacked. No one believed it, because what the hell are you doing? I remember I was sitting on the toilet taking a shit. I was looking at my phone. I got a notification that said sources say Luka traded for blank, because that was just the banner, and it went away. And I was like, I had a double take before I even clicked on the notification, because I must have read that wrong. I'm not very good at reading, so I must have read that wrong. I look at it and it goes, Luka Doncic traded to the Lakers for Anthony Davis and Max Christie. I was in disbelief for at least a day. Like, it couldn't get out of my head. Like, I couldn't stop thinking about it for a day, where it was just, what the hell? Why? Every Mavs fan believed Luka to be their guy forever, like a Dirk Nowitzki type. He'll play with the team for his entire career. He'll win 1, maybe 2 championships, win at least 2 MVPs, and he'll be a guy that the fan base loves forever. And you trade him away because he's fat. New Orleans has Zion every single year. He doesn't play even close to as much as Luka does, and he's fat as fuck. Not this year, but he's fat as fuck. How do you trade Luka? Oh my gosh. Okay, I can't keep getting into this. They lose Spencer Dinwiddie. That's fine. You bring in these guys, so it's okay. Now, Dallas easily are a playoff team. You get Cooper Flag, you know? Like, Cooper Flag, even in preseason, we've seen him play. He looks NBA ready. So having Kyrie, Cooper Flag, AD as your starters, that's a pretty good team. So we'll have to see how the season progresses and if AD and Kyrie can stay healthy throughout the entire year, because we know Cooper Flagg's coming to this league to play. And I honestly really hope that he's playoff ready immediately. That would be so fun to watch. The last team in this video is the San Antonio Spurs. You bring back De'Aaron Fox, you bring back Bismack Biyombo. I'll be honest, I didn't know he was on the team. I didn't know he still had legs for this league. I thought he was out. But hey, love that for him. You bring in Luke Cornett from Boston, and he showed in the playoffs last year that he can be a defensive menace. It's crazy to bring in the guy that got like 5 blocks in a game next to Wemby. Bringing Kelly Olynyk, Lindy Waters. It's just this team's defense is insane. The defense is insane, and then you also have De'Aaron Fox, who's a offensive spark plug whenever he's playing. You have Dylan Harper, your rookie. You have Stephon Castle, the rookie of the year. I think this is like a full year for the Spurs. I don't see them missing playoffs at all, especially since you have Wemby, you have De'Aaron, you have Dylan, you have Stephon. They are a playoff team. Their ceiling is probably ending at like 5th seed, maybe 4th seed, depending if Wemby plays the whole year and he's gone. But the Spurs easily are a playoff team. I'd say their floor would be play-in, just because again the West is so strong, and let's say Wemby gets hurt, let's say De'Aaron gets hurt. It's all about, like, if injuries happen, they're going to be falling. But I'd say they're still a play-in team, and this team is going to be so much fun to watch. I cannot wait to be tuning into games for this. Like, the best of their ceiling could be conference finals. It just depends on how the team progresses, and if De'Aaron Fox can, like, be the leader of the team. Because he's like the oldest star on the team. Let's see if he can be a leader, and if not, if Wemby can turn into the leader in year 3. Which would be kind of insane. Thank you so much for watching. That was the Southwest Division. Next video, we're going to do the Pacific Division and finish up the West. See you there.